Welcome to the Gingerspyce Tiefling Druid episode 29. In this episode we do R1 Fire on Thunder Peak, and I am level 29. This is a raid that I've tanked many times. I've never done it on R1 at level 29 though, so I was curious to see how I'd perform, and I was very pleased with how it turned out. I really had no doubt that I was going to be able to do it, but it was interesting to do it nonetheless. I've done it on R1 before, but I've always been level 30. There's not really a whole lot going on at level 29. It's just the only quests that are level 29 is epic Orchard of the Macabre quests, and I thought this would be more interesting, kind of show off the tanking ability. So let's take a look at where things are. So I've got all the endgame loot on. So this would be my endgame gear prior to Sharn. So this is the trinket that I had on my one ring last episode. So this has a resistance 14, quality constitution 4, constitution 17. The Slave Lord sorcery, that's, I used to have that set going. I don't anymore. I actually only have two Slave Lords sorcery, or two Slave Lords items on right now, which is Spinneret and this. So the set bonus does not apply. It also has the Reaper power boost on there. That's, if you're lucky enough to find a Reaper blank to craft on, that's really cool. Alright, next item is the Torque. My beloved Torque. This is a new item, the Legendary Compliance. I'm not crazy about this choice for my headgear, but, it was something that gave me both general potency. Unfortunately, I don't have general insightful potency like I would if I went with the Pansopic Circlet, but I really wanted the exceptional alluring skills to have the big Intimidate. Remember, I'm not like a maximum spell power, maximum DC build. I do walk a line between caster and tank, and so, like I said before, I'm not going to be the best caster druid, and I'm not going to be the best tank. I'm happy with playing something in the middle, and it works for what I like to do. This is how I like to play. Got that slotted up with Deathblock. It's a big charisma that also helps with Intimidate. And it's got the Mythic 1, the Zoriat Madness Delirium. That is something that was crafted on there, and so that actually has a chance to proc a displacement effect. Unfortunately, it doesn't proc as much as I'd like, but it's been really inconsistent. Sometimes it seems to proc a lot, and other times it just seems like it doesn't proc for 4 days in a row. So it's really weird. So wasn't crazy about that. Like I said, this isn't, I'm not married to this gear choice, but, it works for some things that I need. So the goggles are the same as Legendary Green Steel, so this is now the first of 5 pieces. And the 5-piece set bonus is called the Ender set, and that has a chance to insta-kill any mobs that have less than 5,000 hit points with any spells that I hit them with, so or melee or ranged. So it's pretty cool, and that's not really, wasn't really going for that. It's just to get to that Ender set, it is both a material and an opposition set. So there's 3 total sets going on with the Legendary Green Steel, which can be really confusing. I do have a video that talks about Legendary Green Steel set bonuses. This is just about the set bonuses. It's a very confusing topic for a lot of folks. In any event, there's a 2+ piece set, which is the opposition set, which I talked about, I think, at level 26, and it's just a bunch of extra hit points. The more opposition gems you have in there, then the more stacking hit points that you have. And then when you have 4 pieces that have the material gems in it, then, and I'm simplifying this a little bit. So if you're interested in making this, you're going to want to do your homework, do the research to make sure you craft it right. But the material set is at least 4 pieces of green steel with material essences in there. And I'm talking about, you could look at, like it says, Green Steel Augment Equipment, Tier 1, Negative Opposition Material. So when I'm saying opposition and I'm saying material, that's what I'm talking about. Those focuses, those essences, those gems that are in there. So, the set bonuses are determined by those constituent pieces of the green steel, the legendary green steel. And this does not apply to heroic green steel. So the material set is, let's see, I think that's probably just still broken. Oh. No, it's not. They must have fixed it. It's interesting. But it doesn't list the percent. In any event, it is a I believe, a 35% extra spell critical damage. Yeah, if you look at the bottom, you say spell critical multiplier. That's not critical chance, it's a damage multiplier. So I'm doing 35% extra critical damage with all of my spell types because of that 4-piece material set bonus. So with the opposition set bonus, which is giant hit points, the material set bonus, which is extra spell critical damage, and then the 5-piece is the under set, which is the basically a Vorpal for anything that's under 5,000. If it's over 5,000, it adds stacks of vulnerability. So pretty cool, but a very, very, very difficult thing to work into your gear set because it's 5 slots and it's extraordinarily expensive. It does require 20,000 plus of the Codex runes because you have to have 5,000 Codex runes to put the to purchase the Immortal's Heart. You can see at the bottom, Immortal's Heart. You know, you purchase that with 5,000 Codex runes. You know, you get the Codex runes from the end chest of Legendary Shroud. In the final crafting device at the end of Legendary Shroud, you can buy the Immortal's Heart for 5,000 runes, and you got to put that in your Legendary Green Steel to cleanse it, and that's what you got to use, you know, to functionally cleanse it. You know, that's heroic Green Steel terminology when we talk about cleansing, but it's functionally the same. Heroic Green Steel, you got to add an essence of cleansing so that you can wear multiple accessories. Well, in Legendary Green Steel, you got to add an Immortal's Heart to every successive piece so that you don't take damage. If you try to put 2 Legendary Green Steel items on, not aside from weapons you don't have to do this for, but 2 accessories, and they didn't have the Immortal Heart in it, then you would take constant damage. You just wouldn't be able to do it. It would kill you. But one of them can be uncleansed, but the rest of them have to have that Immortal's Heart. So with 5 pieces, you have to have 4 of them with the Immortal's Heart. Each one of those Immortal's Hearts costs 5,000 runes. That's 20,000 runes, and that's over and above the runes that you use to craft all the pieces. So, you know, probably comes out to, you know, 21,000 runes or something like that. I'm just guessing. The next piece is the Legendary Scales of the Exile. This comes out of Madness of Crowds, the chain in House Jurasco, and that's the Rage chain, Disciples of Rage. And so this is a nice source of parrying. Insightful Wisdom 9, Insightful Constitution 9, just a perfect kind of armor for this kind of build. You know, Wisdom for the Druid, and Con, you know, I want big Con because I'm tanky. Mythic Armor 4, and Reaper Physical Resistance Rating. I mean, this was just the perfect armor. It was a lot of grinding to get that, you know. You know, if you're looking at this and go, man, Gingerspyce is the cool loot, you know, like I had to farm a lot for that, you know. That was just a lucky pull, but just a perfect armor for me. It also has high fortification. So you can see I have huge fortification, 343%. Slotted up with Good Luck +2, Bound on Attune, All Chemical Armor Defense. That's another stacking point of armor class. And just like when I had it for the heroic version, you know, it's the Wayward Warrior set, but this is the legendary set. So with two pieces equipped, and the other piece is the legendary Giant's Platter Shield, I get a +5 artifact bonus to natural armor and a +2 artifact bonus to Constitution. Bracers are the same as before. I had 3 of my legendary green steel pieces on since level 26. So that's an electric resistance item in every tier. Remember, when you're trying to craft for that material opposition set, you have very limited things that you can craft onto your legendary green steel to ultimately get to those sets. So, you know, I didn't have a ton of options, and so a resistance item is typically what people are going to do. The next piece is the Epic Elite Ring of Shadows. I've been wearing this since level 25. Very important augment to have in there, Globe of True Imperial Blood. You want to try to have that augment on any tune that you're serious about. It gives a +1 exceptional bonus to all stats. But if you can't get one of those for whatever reason, and that comes out of Giant Hold Tor, Epic of course, then you know you could just get the individual +1 exceptional diamonds, and you can buy those. Those are level 20 from like Lahar, the Epic vendor, in the 12. If you can't find yourself a Globe of True Imperial Blood, but this is just nice to knock it all out, because you're going to want to have that exceptional stat to probably at least 2 stats. You know, like everybody's going to want to have their prime requisite, their prime stat covered, like in my case Wisdom, and then most people are going to want to have Constitution as well, but this one just covers everything, which is nice to have that all in one slot. That's a level 25 augment and goes into a colorless slot. Any color slot is what is considered a colorless augment. So legendary Green Steel Boots is new, so this is the 4th piece. This is a fire resistance item. I already talked about the set bonuses, so nothing else to mention there. The gloves I had from before. This is the Unconscious Range piece. The Legendary Spinneret. This comes from the end chest in Slave Lords Part 1. This is a really nice caster item. It has quality potency 32. Spell penetration 7 isn't doing anything for me. But primarily I have this because the quality spell focus mastery. That's +2 quality bonus to the DCs of all my spells. So that's pretty cool. Remember, this Legendary Slave Lord Sorcery set does not apply. I only have 2 pieces now. I had applied that a couple of years ago when I was, I think I had the 5-piece set going at one time, but, not anymore. Okay, so slot it up with Armor Agility +2. That increases the maximum dex bonus of my armor. What is my max dodge right now? Is 7. Okay. Alright, next piece is the Legendary Green Steel Belt. So this is the final Legendary Green Steel item. That is an acid resistance item. I already talked about the set bonuses, so we're going to move on to the Legendary Silver Thread Cloak. This comes out of the end chest of Into the Mist. This is a really nice Wisdom caster cloak. Wisdom 19, that's still, really good wisdom. There is the artifacts now that have +22, but there's only 3 more. So, since I'm not like a max DC kind of caster, Wisdom 19 might be good enough, but if I have to, if my DCs aren't good enough, then I might have to try to fit that artifact in. We'll see what happens. But Wisdom 19, Insightful Evocation Focus 4, so that's a big 4 to my DCs. Fortification is irrelevant, that's redundant from the armor. This is my source of physical sheltering, and it's got a Mythic 3 on there, pretty cool. What's my source of... Oh, magical sheltering's on the shield, I think. Okay, and I already talked about the 5 rings trinket. So now we get the legendary giant platter. Yeah, this is my source of magical sheltering 50. You can see that on there. It also has big natural armor bonus 19, vitality 67, protection 16, mythic shield boost 4. So wonderful, wonderful shield for a... for a tanky tune. Great for me. It's made of dense wood, so you remember druids have to wear non-metal armor and shield. So, we don't have a ton of options for shield, but there are quite a few that you could potentially use at endgame. But really, there's probably only 2 or 3 that would be serious options, but there are a couple of more. So this is the, let's see, what else we got in there? Alchemical Shield Defense at the Stone of Change. I talked about that during, when I was talking about the heroic pieces, the heroic shields. I've had those that crafted onto my heroic shields, but you do that at the Stone of Change. It gives you a stacking +1 bonus to armor class. So when you focus on armor class like I do, every point matters. Now, my armor class is 231. That's not stellar. Real tanks are going to get, armor class of like 400, 500. Not me. Remember, just a quasi tank. I'm not tanking, R6 raids. I'm pretty happy with just, tanking, R1 raids. That's in my guild, we're just kind of like a legendary hard through R1 kind of difficulty when it comes to raids. And then my daily questing tends to be just like mid-skull. Once in a while we step it up to higher, but, mostly, R5, R6, R7 kind of stuff. Gotta slide it up with the Sapphire Crushing Wave Guard. That's a proc that does some damage to mobs that attack me. So first piece of the Legendary Seasons of Change set. That's +25 artifact bonus to fire and cold spell power, +2 artifact bonus to evocation DCs. And the other piece of that set is the Legendary Wild Flame. I used to use the Legendary Wild Frost because that was cold spell power and lore and insightful cold spell power. But I wanted to switch to the Wild Flame for the Tiefling because the Tiefling can substitute fire spell power for cold spell power, which I haven't done that yet. But this is, this is kind of an experiment, playing my favorite build as a Tiefling and seeing how it goes. So next video I should have that picked up, and I'll be level 30 and I'll be able to see where the final numbers are. But another reason why I wanted to go with this one over the Wild Flame or Frost is because the Wild Frost has Conjuration focus 8 on it, and this has evocation focus 8. And evocation is much more important to me than conjuration. Evocation is earthquake, of course, so I really wanted to have that. This is also sentient. So, you know, I have the Grandfather's Shield, Constitution there. These are all rare filigrees. So I've got additional bonuses beyond the regular. So I have this all listed on my build post. But it's a 3-piece Grandfather's Shield set. You can see at the bottom there it says, we're going to have to wait for it to scroll again. 3 pieces is a 5% bonus to your armor class. The 2 pieces 5% is plus 5 PRR. Okay, then I have a 4-piece Odo set, which I had earlier on the other insentient weapon when I was using the Ice Razor, and that gives the plus 2 DCs of all spells in addition to some spell points as well. And so there's another source of, you know, point of Constitution, some PRR, some Charisma, and MRR, and that set, the 2-piece of the Odos also gives plus 5 MRR, so MRR is huge for everybody. And then for my 8th filigree, I have the rare version of the dual filigree that you get from purchasing with the Threads of Fate, the new-ish endgame raid currency. You know, you do the endgame raids, you get Threads of Fate now. You know, that was just implemented, I don't know, about 6 months ago or so. And there's some really interesting things that you can purchase, and these dual filigrees are really nice. And what's cool about that one is that, you know, it's actually a filigree that gives plus 2 to Wisdom. There's a filigree that gives plus 2 to each stat. So, you know, hell yeah, give me the Wisdom. You know, I'd like to fit in an artifact so I can have 3 more filigrees with some really cool things. Like, I'd love to fit in the plus 2 to Constitution, the plus 20 to Healing Amplification. Like, those are 2 that I know I would want. But, you know, I don't know if I'm going to be able to fit that in. We'll see what happens. Can you believe at this point in the series I haven't even posted the trailer yet? So I have a lot of time before I have to do those level 30 videos, and I'm going to figure some things out by then. So there might be a lot of time between this one and the next episode for me, but on your side, they'll probably only be a few days apart. Alright, so that's the gear. Nothing new to mention. Enhancements. On the feat side, I took Deific Warding. Deific Warding does require all 3, see number of destinies 3 at the bottom, all 3 of your divine destinies have to be capped, not just level 5, but fully maxed out on XP. So this gives plus 10 PRR and MRR, and then up to an additional 20 PR and MRR as you get hit every time. Let's see, how is it worded? When you take damage from an enemy's attack or spell, add 1 stack of Deific Warding, which is plus 2 to PRR and MRR. The effect can stack up to 10 times. 1 stack is removed every 3 seconds. So if you're tanking, you know, you're getting hit regularly, those stacks are going to stay there. So that's a lot of extra MRR and PRR, which is pretty cool for a tanky kind of tune. I think that's it for the intro, guys. Let's get on to the raid.
Yeah, we're doing our one. But Zunray's not here yet, but we can step in.
That's a long bio.
I'm right here. Hell yeah. I'm the one that you wanted. Are you gonna do some leveling after this, Ginger? I'll stay on Maniac one.
Yeah, I'll finish the push to 30. I only have 400,000 to go.
That's good, that's good.
That's about what Leg Basher needs.
We could hit some of the easy cogs ones until I get 30, and then we can start hitting some more serious stuff.
Alright. This raid starts when everyone's inside. And everyone's inside, let's approach. Tanks, you all are experienced at this, so I know that you know what you're doing. Healers, just stand by your tank.
Oh, look who walked in without his mana.
Or you could just let the tanks go down. Not really much I can do about it.
I'm gonna pretend that I'm doing stuff during this raid. This guy's pretty weak.
I don't know if I've actually tried to tank these dragons on R1 at level 29. But
Let's DPS south first.
should be able to.
Or I
Just got my 84th
no,
Reaper point. Don't even have it spent yet.
yeah,
I
south
spend that
first.
at level 30.
Skinny as magma?
Got a block when she does the paw attack there.
Got some insane DPS in here.
DPS south. Stay south.
That's good. Yeah, all on Neva. Is he getting magma or no?
Yep,
Yeah,
now
he's
she is.
magma. Everyone north, go on Thraxacta, or that's skinny, right? He's skinny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
South is fatty, north is skinny.
Trash is up. The purple named golems are up. We got to take them one at a time. So I'll focus on one. Let's focus on Devastator. Once Devastator down, we'll handle the other purple named lava golem. Alright. If both of them are down, we'll handle trash until dragons are back.
You can send DPS south first.
Alright, dragons south. Get on fatty. Let trash team handle trash from here on out.
Block for that pounce attack. That paw attack. South is magma, DPS north.
GPS north.
This is the
Get
point
on
in the
skinny.
raid in which the dragons have their big buff. They have artifact rage now. That's a 300% damage buff. And then once we get to the final phase, they'll have artifact overdraw, which is a 400% damage buff, and they get really, really serious at that point. So right now, I'm gonna bring up a fresh.
Alright, at this point, get on the artifact. Get on the artifact. Center artifact.
Fresh examination window.
No more DPS on the dragons from here on out. The most just focus on trash and artifact. Once the artifact's down, both the dragons will be down. Their health goes down, and we can just beat them down one at a time. So until then, just trash and artifact.
Trash is on Zoom, right?
This is the point in a raid in which you see a lot of pugs making the mistake of DPS in the dragons. It's actually counterproductive to do that. One, because as soon as the artifact goes down, both of the dragons immediately drop to 10% health, no matter what they're at. So it doesn't even make any sense to DPS them, because they're just going to go to 10% health anyways. But the problem, the really big problem, is that if at this point in the raid, you just have your two tanks, babysitting the dragons. And if, a lot of times, like an adequate tank
Band, I don't know what happened.
is more or less just going to kind of go to sleep at this point. So if the tanks aren't paying close attention, you got somebody DPSing the dragons, especially if you have like a range tune that you can't see, from afar, and they start pulling the dragon. These dragons are doing so much damage right now. I mean, I'm built to handle them, but they're doing so much damage right now that they're gonna one-shot anybody that has less than about 1,500 hit points, and and 100 and 150 PRR.
Great. Coming in.
Thank you.
They have the artifact overdraw, 400% damage buff.
Damn it, Venge.
So my job right now is just to hold the
Yeah,
dragon
one
while
more.
everybody else focuses on trash and
1,000 damage from it.
the artifact. The artifact will become vulnerable once a minute. So
Was
the
it
artifact
not your
overdraw
time?
buff disappeared.
You had one
Actually,
job.
it appears over. It
DDO,
switches
the only
between the
game
two
where you get
dragons.
mad at someone for dying on you.
So now my
Alright,
dragon's got it
artifact.
back. Gotta block for that, otherwise she sends you flying. I'll use a displacement scroll.
I have Reapers on me. I'm dragging them towards Cluj. Oh, no, gotta go back to Vans for a sec. I mean, zoom around.
That's what the numbers look like. I don't even
Thank
see
you
my
for the
DFIC
verbal
warding stacking
communication.
up.
Thank you for getting that stuff off me.
Is she just not hitting me? Is
Communication's
that why?
key in raids, guys. Really love it when you guys do that stuff. It's awesome.
We'll do a fire shield, do another displacement. I'd like to be back in the corner
Also being
because that
aware of
way,
your surrounding and your own hit points.
when she wing buffets, I can't be
Need
pushed
help,
back
call
any
it out.
further. Plus, you want to be away from, like that
Alright,
corner over
artifact.
there, because that's where trash spawns. This is a good place to be away from trash spawn points, away
I
from
bet
the
we get it down
artifact,
next time.
and away from the other dragon. Sometimes you get weird effects, like if you're a certain distance away from the dragon, you can't hit you with her swats, but she won't move forward to hit you, so that's why I'm purposely getting in her face, because I want to show that I am able to stand up to her big attacks. She's missing me most of the time. In fact, I haven't seen her get one big hit on me yet. I'll just stand here. I'm not even going to block. I'm not even going to re-up my displacement. I'll block for that, because otherwise she sends me flying. Okay, so she got, what, 276 damage on me? No sweat, Ace.
Got trash on Godfather, trash on Godfather.
Artifact.
Just going to stand here. No displacement. No blocking.
It's down.
Great job, guys.
Vans, how the hell did you survive that?
Let's go
See, she
north.
dropped
Let's
just a
handle the
10%
trash
health
on
just
the
now.
cleric north and then kill the dragon north first. Or that works too. Alright, handle trash.
Hell yeah.
Handle trash and then we'll loot.
Well, that was pretty
Good job,
cool to
guys.
do that at level 29.
Don't forget to manually loot your threads and runes and turn in the raid after you recall up. That was very awesome. Thank you for joining for me on my Tuesday raids. All of you made it possible to have these smooth victories. I appreciate that.
Thank you for flying in thin air. Please return your
If you have any questions about my build, you can respond to my build post in the Druid forum. If you have any questions about my videos, you
I
can
think I'm
respond
the
on
only one here
YouTube.
that's a mile high right now. You know what I'm saying? 3 apples.